Three families are about to go back in time.
I feel almost like I've been sentenced to 5 months hard labor.
You could have the best intentions of coming out and starting a life here, and before you know it, you're bust.
It's not quite as charming as it once was, and the Garden of Eden has turned into hell.
Fictionalized, mythologized, often romanticized. Now, see the real experience of life on the frontier.
Funding for Frontier House is provided by the Alfred P. Sloan Foundation to enhance public understanding of the role of technology. The foundation also seeks to portray the lives of the men and women engaged in scientific and technological pursuit. Corporate support is made possible by
Bob's Red Mill Natural Foods, makers of over 400 stone-ground whole grain products for every meal of the day. Our all-natural products are available at your local grocer or natural foods market. Bob's Red Mill Natural Foods, to your good health.
and by Georgia Pacific. Life on the frontier would have been different with GP brands like Quilted Northern Bath Tissue, Brawny Towels, and Dixie Cups and Plates. Georgia Pacific. We make the things that make you feel at home. Major funding is provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
Land in the American West was once advertised as free for the taking. Under the Homestead Act, nearly 2 million families came to settle virgin territory, the frontier. Their struggle to survive still haunts the landscape. Even today, the quest for the American dream echoes loudly. Now modern families are coming to test themselves. Can they endure the hardships of the pioneers? Over 5,000 families applied to travel back in time to the Old West. 3 families were chosen.
Yeah, look at Gerber.
Oh,
wait, I think these are your brushes, you guys, with your hair. Yeah, you guys are exactly.
Gordon Clume, a business executive from Los Angeles. His wife, Adrienne, their 3 children, Anya, Justin, and Connor, and their niece Tracy have agreed to trade the luxury of their modern-day life for a one-room cabin on the frontier.
There's cards, and there's Monica, and there's marbles.
You know what these are? Look at these. What do you think?
Tweezers?
No. These are curling irons.
A lot of people have been asking me, what the heck are you doing, Gordon? What do you want to do this for? I guess they look at me as being, someone that's fairly well set, a person that has, a good standard of living, a good career, and lots of opportunities and challenges in my life. And I do. I love history. America is a great country. It comes from these strong people. And I believe that we can learn so much, and personally I can grow so much by going back and understanding what our ancestors have done.
In his 21st century life in California, Gordon is president of a large manufacturing company, overseeing millions of dollars and hundreds of employees.
I don't think I'll be doing cordon bleu somewhere on the frontier.
Adrienne, an Irish immigrant to this country, is a full-time mother and homemaker.
It is a huge change. I mean, we're coming from the 21st century, Southern California, where, you're pretty spoiled. You've got pretty much everything you want. I'm used to getting out, going out to nice restaurants. I'm used to traveling. and I'm used to having nice clothes. I love to shop.
We're going to do something here where the family and I could work together. I guess I've been a little bit of a workaholic, and I've been traveling, and I spend a lot of time, taking care of business. And I'm not spending as much time sometimes with my family. And they're at that critical age where if I blink, it's too late. They're going to be gone.
There was no typical homesteader. They came from diverse backgrounds. Overcrowded towns in the east, impoverished farms, and some embarked from Europe. So each of our families are being given a profile, weaving their lives with those of actual 19th century settlers.
Son of an Irish immigrant who made his pile in the California gold rush, Gordon Clune had lived the American dream. Now, over-speculation and a dip in the Los Angeles economy threatens the family's security. With farming roots on both sides of the family, you've decided to seek a new start in the Rocky Mountains. Isn't that exciting?
I love it. You look great.
From Tennessee comes Karen Glenn, her second husband Mark,
It's Jax.
and her two children, Erin and Logan Patton.
Embroidery. I can't embroider. Everybody back home is going to laugh because every woman I work with embroiders, and I'm always laughing and making fun of them. All right. Yes. Poker cards. That's how we'll barter. We'll just win money off our friends. What appealed to me about this project is that I think it complements my nature. Somebody cut that ball down! Come on, Megan! Come on, Megan! Come on, Megan! Win that ball! I'm not afraid of anything. Self-reliant, hardcore, feisty. Yes! Nice pass! Never wanting to accept defeat. That's a lot of who I am. Good job, Max!
In their modern-day life, Karen is a school nurse and Mark a teacher at a junior college.
You were going to get some ice cream here.
Yeah.
Oh, TV dinners, Mark. When I applied for the Frontier House, I put that we were an all-American family. And I like to think that we are, that we represent the majority of people in America.
I think I'm trying to achieve with this project a sense of really who I am. I think people don't have a chance to stop and think and reevaluate what they're going through and who they are and where they're at.
My family's so adventurous, so when I presented it to them, I could have said we're taking a trip to the moon, and they'd all been in. Unable to afford farmland in Tennessee or Mark's wages as a teacher, the Glenn family has decided to relocate to Montana Territory after reading of free land being available under the Homestead Act. The newspaper article talked of a home seeker's paradise in the newly available districts in the Boulder Valley.
You look like the preacher. Yeah, I know.
Teacher Nate Brooks has come from Boston with his father Rudy, a retired corrections officer.
Like Christmas. Hey. The one with the big numbers. The big numbers are probably mine. I think what I'll like most about this whole experience is working together with people you care about. I think there's a part of me that is really excited just about the kind of survival mentality of what the Frontier folks would have experienced just coming out. Checkers. Nice. Pretty slick, huh, Pop? All right. It's important for me to be there for Nate because Nate's my son. And whatever I can do to nurture, to train, to educate, to support is the role of a parent, I believe.
Many history books ignore the presence of African American pioneers. In fact, by 1880, almost 500,000 black Americans were living in the West.
I think as I've come closer to the project, it brings back memories of my own youth
Pioneer House was was what we grew up doing, so it would be probably a tremendous closing of a circle going back and seeing it again.
Rudy will only stay for the first 2 months to help Nate settle his land. On July 4th, Nate's fiancée, social worker Kristen, will arrive for a homestead wedding.
We already had plans to get married and actually had a date set before we heard about Frontier House, but our lifestyle and our desire to move west matched up perfectly with the project.
In the 19th century, interracial marriages were generally frowned upon. By moving to the frontier, people hoped to escape the prejudices of the day.
I know it was very challenging in laws that forbid marriages in the South, and it was definitely challenging in any area just because of the difference in the discrimination. Young teachers Nate Brooks and Kristen McLeod have been planning their future life outside of Boston for some while. After careful savings, they have managed to budget for a new start out on the frontier. Out west, they hope to escape the financial and social pressures they anticipate may surround their forthcoming marriage.
The time our families are about to revisit is 1883, the year the northern railroads linked east and west, bringing many new settlers. The place, Montana Territory, the most homesteaded area in all of America. Here in the old mining town of Virginia City, the first task is to stake a claim. Under the Homestead Act passed during the Civil War, 160 acres were available for a nominal filing fee. Only men and single women could apply. The family member who completed the Frontier House application will sign. But in 1883, Karen Glenn would not have been able to file, having lost most of her legal rights upon marriage. Life on the frontier was harsh. 60% of the homesteaders didn't survive the 5 years required to prove up their land and secure ownership. Our challenge: can modern-day families last 5 months and prepare for a Montana winter under the same conditions?
Within your own home area?
Our training is being overseen by a small group of experts who specialize in the skills of the time.
The way this training's going to work is the men will be doing the roles outdoors, and we women will be working within the home. I think the main point to teach them is just basics. Cleanliness. How do you wash dishes? Keeping that fire going on the stove so you have hot water to wash your hands and your dishes.
Your survival depends on certain things, and your proficiency with tools is going to be one of those things. I don't think they know what they got themselves into. It's going to be a surprise to them when they find out, probably about the second or third week of their life on site here, that it's not a camping trip. You don't get to go home and take a hot shower at the end of it. They have 4 months or more that they have to live this.
Get over, get down, but number one, you gotta control your horses. Anytime you're around animals, the unexpected is going to happen. And you can tell them 1,000 different things that to be aware of, but the 1,001th thing that you forgot to tell them will be the thing that gets them.
Your first task is going to be to build your home. Pace yourself.
It's fun. I love swinging an axe. I love physical labor.
That's better.
I feel like I had a tetanus shot in my right hand, but I didn't. It's just because I'm using it so much.
They'll do anything to get out of chopping.
The way you're going to be able to know whether your stove is warm enough is by opening the oven and putting your hand in it.
I'm highly impressed with my wood stove, Bren. Isn't this fun? I've had so much fun.
It didn't sit too well with me at first when we got the schedule, and it's like sewing, cooking, making bread, sanitary. Yeah, great.
Every morning before I went to school, this is what I smelled like.
On a 19th century homestead, animals were a critical part of daily life. Livestock expert Rawhide Johnson has given each family a milk cow and calf, horses, and a dog.
Trying to find the right livestock for the 1883 situation that we've created here has been kind of a little tougher than I thought it was going to be. The really incredible tough spot was the milk cows. Nobody milks cows anymore, especially hand milks them. And the enclosed dairies, of course, didn't want to relinquish any of the cows, especially period cows, because there's not very many of them. And one lady here in Montana told me that I could have her daughter and I could have her husband, but I couldn't have her milk cow. Glad to see you do that.
From this point on, the families will have to feed and care for their new animals.
Can I hold one?
One of the dogs has recently given birth to 4 puppies.
This one's the last one to have its eyes open. Because everyone else had their eyes open today. Finally, this one's opening.
These dogs are going to be a major tool in survival as they grow up. They were your early warning device if there was deer or raccoons in the garden, somebody coming to visit you, a bear coming, all those kinds of things. They kind of stay awake when you're sleeping. And so you raise them to be that.
Childhood ended early on the frontier because there was so much work to do. So our children are about to experience a big change from their 21st century lives.
I think there are going to be lots of things that will be hard to do for wood, like chopping firewood and making things out of wood. I never really thought of like how the children in the 1880s would really have to work, like what would they have to do, like what would they have to do for entertainment and things like that.
I'm going to miss basketball tryouts. I'm going to miss friends' parties. I'm going to miss swimming in the summer. I think I'm going to miss, probably showers. I mean, I can't go a day without taking a shower. I think it's really gross. It's a really gross feeling.
I think I'm going to have, like, a hard time with it. I'll probably, like, flip out a couple of times. I'm going to miss my bed, a house, my trampoline, my Nintendo 64, my Super Nintendo. I think I'm out of breath. Can we say I could?
This one's ready to go.
The families have agreed to a set of rules. Most importantly, to live as closely as they can to the experience of homesteaders in the 1880s. A modern-day camcorder will be allowed to help them document their thoughts and feelings 24 hours a day.
Definitely some changes going on in my body, some soreness in my back and shoulders, and from swinging the axe.
I'm still in training, and I'm not working that hard. And I'm so tired, I wanted to cry almost any minute.
This should be interesting. How easy we leave the past behind and take on a new role.
I think today we're going to be talking about
The average life expectancy in 1880 was just 40. Today, it's 77. Our families are being provided with medicines of the era. However, in an emergency, they can see a doctor. What they can't have are popular remedies of the day that contained opium and morphine, which numbed rather than cured. A bottle of whiskey, an essential in every home medicine kit, will be their only painkiller.
Now, you've had 2 doses. How do you feel?
Great.
Some of the ways of the time will require a radical readjustment.
The other thing that you're going to have to learn is the lack of toilet paper. They used water in tin cans, sponges perhaps, or rags to wash themselves with.
I know, like, they used to do things with their hair and their clothes and things, but did they ever do anything about makeup?
Makeup was absolutely not used by people who were of any moral standing at all, other than women in theater, perhaps, or your barroom floozy.
We don't think we look that good without makeup. We look kind of plain and ugly. We look younger. Our faces, we look like I don't know, we look like a 4-year-old.
We want clean faces.
Oh, no.
We want clean faces.
I don't give a crap.
I don't wear makeup.
She doesn't wear it. I'm wearing lipstick. It's not a priority.
Not a priority.
Yeah, we let that.
Okay.
We let that go.
Well, it's a big priority for me. I'm really in trouble here.
A topic rarely discussed in the 1880s was menstruation. Tampons were not invented until the 1930s, so Sue Kane needs to re-educate the women.
We did some research, and there were sanitary belts. They were expensive, and you may or may not have had them. But we thought it was only appropriate that we provide them for you. Karen, would you mind?
Oh, why me?
Because we knew you'd be willing to
Yes.
do it here.
Oh, I'm just
all you have to do is just show us that you put one leg this way.
put all the way up. You guys, you know what you call this in California?
A diaper.
Your bottoms to your bikini.
Some crucial personal decisions have been left to our participants, such as contraception. The subject was taboo. The Comstock Act of 1873 labeled the topic obscene and threatened a $5,000 fine or 10 years hard labor for sending information or contraceptive devices through the mail. As a result, people in remote areas resorted to homemade alternatives, including the pig intestine condom.
You know, so much of this project, I think, is striving for historical accuracy and authenticity. And in some cases, those items have to be replicated. And the closest modern-day equivalent I would think of is a condom.
You know, I think this is one of the key issues in the clash between now and then. I mean, this is probably the one.
I'm taking my birth control pills. That's that.
She's going to make me take them, too, just in case.
Here, honey, no, you don't have to take those peach color. You just take them off. It's okay.
Adrian and I can't have another baby because I took care of things along the way. So,
9 years ago.
Yeah, so she, after 3 kids, that was enough.
Gosh, I don't know why you even get thrown into discussion if you've already been clipped.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
There's always abstention. You consider that?
you do it, we do it.
You know? No, we wouldn't have to worry about that.
Well, unless you step outside.
You know what? That wouldn't work in our family. It's not even an issue to discuss.
Don't you know that how people want to solve your own problems?
I think it should be a personal decision, definitely.
That's great if we're going to sit here and go around the house discussion about ethics, but when we start trying to imply what my methods are going to be, I don't think that's fair since you guys don't have that issue and I do. So that's when I say it's really none of your business.
This is very interesting watching what's happening here. It's kind of a case of familiarity breeds contempt. We're probably a little too close for healthy conditions, really.
I just think I lost it. And the whole time I was trying to keep up this guise of everything's okay, and I'm happy, and I'm functioning, and I'm learning all this stuff that I need to learn so that we don't starve to death on the frontier.
Working together with someone, with people for a long period of time, sometimes I think that there's a natural ability to be a little bit irritated.
The gun was one of the most valued tools of the homesteader, crucial for self-defense and providing food. In Montana Territory, the first hunting restrictions were introduced in 1872 in an effort to protect the declining animal population. Today's laws are strictly enforced, so hunting for game won't be an option, which has disappointed Gordon.
I understand the practicality of it, but it is a very big disappointment. I was anticipating the opportunity to be able to hunt, and even if you don't hunt because you're too busy doing everything else, you know in the back of the mind you can and you could. You know what I mean? But without having to go through a major bureaucracy.
A gun could be important, though, for protecting livestock from predators, such as coyotes.
You got it. You hit it.
So our participants are being trained with shotguns.
Be the buckshot.
Oh, you the man. You the man.
But not everyone is convinced that any gun is a good idea.
I was in law enforcement with juvenile delinquents and in an institution, and there are a number of cases and a number of times that kids have come into the institution having killed somebody or been shot, and so I don't see weapons, guns or rifles or whatever as a necessary evil.
Our choice of a Russian-made 12-gauge shotgun, designed in the style of an American weapon of the era, has further annoyed Gordon, who brought a vintage gun for his son, Connor.
This gun was made in 1886. Look at the engraving. Pictures of rabbits and squirrels. This is a kid's gun. And kids in the West had guns, and so did adults. But we got is a gun that you better not do a close-up on, because it's embarrassing.
Some people got really upset about it, and that was I felt bad for him in a sense, but I also think it was much to do about nothing. You know, if this is the only reason you came out here was to hunt with your kids, then maybe you're misdirected or you're putting too much emphasis on this one issue.
I just can't believe we're in America, you know. We're going to have something like that.
If Gordon brings up one more issue about firearms, I think I'm just going to shoot him.
I feel very, very disappointed in how little this part of the West is going to be emphasized in this program.
You know, General Custer look-alike. Give me a break.
With or without guns, life and death go hand in hand on the frontier. Today, people shop at supermarkets, distanced from the source of their food. But pioneers had to tackle their basic needs head-on.
In a few minutes, we will be killing these birds. There are several different ways of doing it. You can wring their necks. You can chop their heads off with a hatchet. And I'm curious, how do any of you feel about that?
I think it'll be fun to watch.
You think it'll be fun to watch?
It's gonna be sad.
You have to be the one killing it and deciding, okay, we're going to kill that chicken today or that calf. It's a little bit of an ethical issue.
I don't think there's anything unethical. It's the food chain. And it's lower.
We eat, chicken sandwiches or chicken nuggets or whatever, and to know that, we're having to kill the chicken to get that meat is something that I feel like it's important for everybody to be in contact with and connection with.
The purpose of growing them is so they can go on our tables. So the relationship to the chicken or to any of our animals are going to be different.
Oh, it's still moving.
Let it go so you don't get it all over you.
He's suffering.
No, it's already dead.
Nice whole feather.
We're burying the heads.
Because we feel bad.
Please put this here.
It's hard to believe that these birds were sitting in a cage here just less than an hour ago. Now look at them.
It's not so bad. I mean, at least you see the process from start to finish. You know, that's kind of beautiful. You can have more of an appreciation for the food you eat and not be so wasteful.
Now I still feel guilty.
The families are being outfitted with the basics. The tools and household goods that settlers had in the 1880s. A supply of locally available food has also been provided to get them started.
The food list that I put together came basically from a storekeeper's journal in the general area from where they're going to be. And what I did was I went through and categorized everything that went through that store in about a 6-month period.
I just found out that this is actually supposed to be enough to keep us going for 5 weeks. And I'm a little concerned that maybe we've underestimated in places.
It is going to be a big challenge for them to look at a storehouse of food and say, okay, this has got to last me for 6 weeks.
Just powder next week.
10 days in, and the Glens have a problem. Their milk cow, Crystal, is sick.
Her production's been so low that the calf's also going hungry.
She is their responsibility, and they are worried about the possible consequences. On the frontier, they will depend on Crystal for milk, butter, and cheese.
Are we gonna have to kill Crystal?
No, sweetie, but we may have to kill her calf. I know. Because the calf competes for milk, and if,
Can we keep it until its cuteness goes away?
Yeah, I think we can keep it till its cuteness goes away.
Since the families haven't left the modern day, a vet is called to look at the problem.
The fourth stomach is displaced to the left side, so by placing her on her back, rolling her to and fro, we're hopeful that we can relieve that entrapment, allow the abomasum to return to its proper position on the right side.
I'm more than a little concerned. I'm worried about the animal, but I'm also worried about what do we do? What would you have done? Your milk cow's sick. She's been off for feed, hasn't produced any milk. She's laid down.
Got it right to there.
Milk is going to be, besides water and probably fire, one of the most essential things that we're going to have. Cooking, drinking. There's this is, as far as drink machines, this is the only drink machine that we are actually going to have out in the wilderness is our milk cow.
Most homesteaders had little money and were attracted by the promise of free land. Our family's historical profiles include a small amount of savings, which they will be able to spend at a recreated general store. Their money will also have to cover the cost of their new homes.
The sale of your house in California has enabled you to employ a local builder to assist you in the construction of your home in the Boulder Valley. To keep costs down, you have elected to work with the builders. Therefore, your home will be in the early stages of construction when you arrive. Wow, that's exciting.
Your financial background. You are penniless. You'll be building your own cabin.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah, I wonder if we can buy more tools.
A land agent in Montana has secured you a site complete with an existing cabin.
Yay! Yes!
Thank you. Shoot!
Green Acres is the place to be. Farm living is a life for me. Land spreading out so far and wide. Cape Manhattan, just give me that countryside.
As the intense training period comes to an end, the families begin their physical transformation to 19th century pioneers. On the agenda for today, haircuts, a clean shave, and finally, dressing in their period clothing. Each family will then be photographed to commemorate their journey westward.
For anyone who ever thinks they've had a bad hair day, you gotta see this. What a disaster! We put these rag curls in last night and that will look authentic for our photos today. And this is like the worst. I'm dying here. It's like bad enough we're not allowed to wear any makeup today, but now I gotta look like Shirley Temple as well.
Just set it over here. Right over here.
This is mine.
The clothing has been handmade and researched for period accuracy. They will each be given work clothes and dress clothes to suit their new life. For the photographs, they will dress in what was commonly known as their Sunday best.
I don't understand this thing. It should sit right under your breast.
They're in there somewhere. I just can't find them.
The women's clothing has 9 layers, from tightly laced corsets to chemises and bustle pants.
Just right at the top. Very.
Getting undressed was such a drama that the ladies' underdrawers had an open crotch to make bathroom visits a little easier. Fully dressed, each woman has gained an extra 12 pounds.
Do you swear on a stack of Bibles you don't have mascara on?
Only mascara.
Well, that's makeup, young lady.
Connor, you know these suspenders? They're meant to keep your pants high up. Why are the pants so high?
Not bad, huh?
Looks like you're getting ready for a wedding.
These aren't easy.
You're looking pretty sharp, young man.
You know what? Wimpy on Popeye wore this kind of suit.
Ready to head to the saloon?
Put on your hat. Let's do it.
All right.
Golly! Look at that. I like it. Her, you can't see the whole outfit. Look at her. Golly.
Oh, look at you.
My gracious. Holy smokes. Hello, my dear. Let's have a look.
You just let me wear makeup. You're gonna look twice as good.
Okay, everyone look at the top of the camera. 1, 2.
Not being allowed to wear makeup today was really a shocker. I didn't expect that. I'm expecting not to wear it on the frontier, but for today, the day when we're going to get our outfits and get in them and have our photos taken, I really thought I'd have a chance to look good, and I would have felt happy about what I looked like. So I thought I looked like crap. I'm sorry. I did not enjoy it. I tried all day not to cry.
The thing that's amazing is how really the 21st century woman isn't preoccupied with her covering up her body, but she is very preoccupied with putting on the makeup and putting on a mask to hide behind in her face. And what is she hiding? Is she hiding her getting older? Is she hiding wrinkles? Is she hiding what? I don't know.
What's there to say? You know, what's the big deal? It's not like I'm going to town every day or meeting my friends for lunch. I'm going out to milk a cow.
The training is complete, and now the adventure can begin. Today is the day the families will journey into the past.
Morning, y'all.
Some things just never change. I've just been comparing the major differences between what I'm wearing and what I used to be wearing. And certain things like being able to breathe and have, use the bathroom. Just those little things of life that one just appreciates and misses.
We have a really easy way of getting a tent up. 2 seconds. There it is. So you just go under that tent and we're great.
I like it. Most of my costume except the bonnet. My brother told me I look like a mailbox.
Guess what I heard what Anya's doing?
What have you heard, honey?
That Anya's trying to sneak in her makeup and her hair dryer and everything that she likes.
One of the big scandals of the pioneer life already, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I've heard a whisper, but I heard a hairdryer. Which, how crazy is that?
It's the females, I think, that are trying to slip in kind of some makeup or some shampoo, get some things slided under the radar.
Okay, I've heard all this to do about makeup when the real thing that I'm going to try to smuggle is this. That's right. Your basic, cheap, rough on the butt, industrial strength toilet paper. But, oh my God, this is going to be the most valued item, I think, out there. Listen to it rustle. Even the wrapping is going to be better than what we have out there. I just don't think I can bear to leave it.
In the 1880s, homesteaders would travel weeks, sometimes months, to reach their land. Our pioneers are about to embark on a wagon train journey that will take just 2 days. Before they leave, the families must sort through a mountain of belongings. Pots, pans, tools, and food. It will be 6 weeks before they can restock. So like the settlers before them, they must make hard choices about what to bring and what to leave behind.
The tripod, we need all that.
We'll definitely take that to long-term storage.
All right.
Do you think Lindsay knows it?
I don't need it.
All right, so that'll actually help a little bit. No.
Most homesteaders traveled in farm wagons known as prairie schooners, which are actually quite small.
4 foot by about 12 to 15 foot. It wouldn't even fit the books in our house.
With wagons filled beyond capacity, the trail west was often littered with items which were cast off along the way.
Watch out for the wire behind you.
So we'll just start with the stuff on top first and then save room for the 2 trunks.
We're loading up the wagon here, and I'm saying, I wish I had my Land Rover. It's just so much easier.
What I'm trying to do is find a way to store my eggs so that they won't get broken on the trip. I've already broken 2 preparing for the trip. So it's kind of like that 5th grade science experiment where you have to pack an egg so that you can drop it off a building and not let it get broken.
Mama, can we get 2 more eggs?
No, unless you lay them.
Darn it.
As the families continue to pack, Rawhide gives Karen and Mark some bad news.
Your milk cow's not doing very good. So we're going to pull her out of the wagon train and take her to the vet this afternoon. I don't know what's wrong with her. Maybe her stomach's rolled back over again, but she didn't have much of any milk this morning. She looks an awful lot better than she did last time that she was sick. And it may just be the stress level. And once she gets out on green grass and gets settled down and stuff, she may do fine.
I think he's sugarcoating it. I don't know a whole lot about cows. I do know a little bit about animals, and animals don't get sick that quick again and again. I don't think she's going to make it. It's just, I don't know. I feel better with people dying, maybe. This stupid Jersey cow.
It's out. We just need to get another cow up here. We need to get a cow up here now because I got a family of 4 and we're big milk drinkers. And that's going to be our beverage of choice. That and water.
So much. It's for medicinal purposes only.
Good, I got a headache.
It'll go.
I can't wear this thing anymore. Ugh. I'll wear it when I have no work to do.
We got ourselves a nice spot for the trunk. And then we can put all the heavy cast iron skillets in the middle here, like Clyde said. We'll get it.
The wagons are packed, and it's time to make a total break with the modern day. This is the moment of truth. The families are given one last chance to put non-period items in an honesty box.
You guess. Oh no! Tweezers, lipstick, mascara, eyeshadow. It was only 3 things.
Can I use it really fast?
Can you use it? Well, since it's out, yeah. Can I just put lipstick on one last time?
Now let's just get to the homestead. Let's get broken up. That's what we need to do. We need to break these clans apart. Let's go start our lives without the neighbors being right here in your face 24 hours a day.
The team horses have been hitched to the wagons, and this is an opportunity to get everyone together for a group photo. The departure of the wagon train is the moment that Rawhide has feared most. Controlling powerful teams of horses is too dangerous for our families to be allowed to take charge, so Rawhide has hired professional drivers.
When you're doing a wagon train or anything with animals, there's always a risk of having something go wrong. You're more vulnerable with teams than with saddle horses because more people can get hurt quicker. If somebody falls off a horse or something, one person has got hurt. Team horses run away, everybody in the wagon can get seriously hurt, and then everybody that gets run over can get hurt. And a runaway wagon, if you happen to be on it, is just like sitting on the bumper of a car and running it into some trees. You're going to get hurt.
The teams start out, but proceed nervously. Having waited while hitched as the photos were taken has left them skittish. Suddenly, a team spooks, and the driver loses control. They leap out of line and head straight for Adrienne. Connor is thrown from the driver's seat. Adrienne barely escapes. Thankfully, no one is hurt.
Well, the horses sort of got in a little argument or something, and then they just went berserk, and the guy, lost one hand of reins, and they got it back. And then that's when, they got loose.
I could just hear what was happening behind me. I couldn't see. I saw them come running. I just ran for my life. I could hear the thundering hooves behind me. And then Anya's running. I'm running.
Look at her eyes are shielded. She's got blinders on, 1883 style blind. We've been reading books about how accidents happen and women get accidentally kicked in the head. Well, it's no wonder. They can only see what's in front of their frickin' eyes like this. They could walk right into harm's way without even knowing it. So there's a disadvantage with fashion in 1883, I can tell you right now.
Close one. You know, I grew up around horses. I know they're really unpredictable. You get a lot of horses together. It just takes one to be a bit restless and get everyone going. And it's just amazing, too, the power of those team horses. They are incredible. Once they get going, it's incredible. So we're lucky. I think luckily nobody's hurt. Everything's fine. It's a good warning.
When we left with the wagons from the store, we discussed it a little bit of sitting there and taking a couple of portraits. And I said, well, when we hook up, we really need to go. The horses are going to be nervous and stuff. It got carried away, and it was taking longer than it should, and we had one team that was getting really nervous, and probably the only time in my life I've ever seen a wreck like that without breaking a great deal of stuff. But it's just a miracle that nothing got broken, nobody got hurt.
And here we go again. There they go.
As they head off again, only Rudy chooses to ride. The rest of the families will go on horseback or will walk the entire journey, like many homesteaders before them.
Rawhide's biggest fear this whole game has been when we start, the moment that these wagons take off to pull these loads. Okay, move to the sides while the girls get on the horses. And you know what? I mean, he called it like you'd call up, inside straight on 7-card stud. I mean, he called it. This is what he was afraid of from the beginning.
The Clunes were lucky. Local history recalls an all-too-common tragedy when a small child coming to this very area fell from a wagon and was crushed to death under its wheels. Fresh graves marked the way west. Hours into their journey, and our travelers are confronted with another harsh lesson of the trail. The road is out. It is late May, and the mountain snowmelt has burst an irrigation dam, washing the road away.
Find an alternative route. Hell of a morning. It's definitely humbling just to know that everything's unpredictable. What do you think?
Hard to believe. One of these things happen once in maybe 50 years. It just happens to be today. Kind of one of those things that everybody run into. Typical wagon train story.
Yeah.
The families wait and rest while the options are discussed.
It's kind of a long ways around. We have that option or holding up. Just like they used to do. They'd hold up and wait for the weather and all nature to get settled again, and then they'd go when they could. And we're right at that deal right now.
A decision is made. The families will take a long detour around the washed-out road, leading the horses and dogs. The wagons cannot take this route, so Rawhide must resort to a 21st century solution. The road is reopened, and the wagons can cross. The family's upper route will take them longer. The plan is to meet up with their wagons before night falls. They reunite and decide to call it a day. While the adults set up camp, the children try to catch dinner.
Oh no! This is bad. I have to fight! Shit! Oh, lose my worm and everything.
I don't want to catch anything. Come on, I mean, we're too close to the shore.
Wish I just got my line tangled up. It's just the usual for me.
Returning empty-handed from fishing, Connor Clune is attacked by the Glen's dog, Duke.
My leg! No! My leg! My leg! Yikes! He was fighting so hard! No, seriously, I was just like going over to get some sticks, and then he goes Bazzacco. Oh, and he starts biting my leg.
I don't see where he broke his skin there, brother.
Well, I felt like...
I know. It feels like he did, doesn't it? If he wanted to break the skin, I think he probably could, don't you? We'll lock Duke up. We'll put Duke up. Okay.
Duke's like a hunting dog.
Quite a day. Probably looked like a wreck. I'm thinking that was quite an introduction to the hazards of the frontier. It was like incredible. Just a little more real than I had anticipated. A little more real than I really wanted to get. It was like, whoa, it was close, I'll tell you.
It was very frightening, but I think that brought home the realization that what we were doing has elements of danger. It doesn't matter if you have a safety specialist on board, and it doesn't matter if everyone's been trained in first aid. Things can happen.
I think there's a learning for all of us in relationship to 1883, because those things, those little emergencies and the road out and the horses and all, I'm sure occurred in 1883.
See, that was like the worst day of my life. The worst day of your life. I fell out of a wagon. I lost my worm without even having a bite. I was attacked by a vicious dog being like